Ayon Perez. This comes after several showbiz-oriented programs talk about rumors suggesting the good pastor's involvement in the case. But Attorney Tolentino refuted the rumors.
Walang kinalaman si Pastor Apollo dito. So in fact, that is only a person. In fact, walang kinalaman ng SMNI.
Tolentino serves as the legal counsel for the kapisanan ng social media broadcasters ng Pilipinas Incorporated, the group that filed cases against the comedian. Prominent legal figures who have had programs on SMNI, such as Attorney Salvador Panelo and Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Juan Ponce Enrile, have expressed their opinions against Vice Ganda, also known as Jose Marie Visceral and Ayon Perez or Benigno Perez.
Yung mga sinasabi ni Secretary JPE, personal opinion po niyan. Yung sinasabi ni Secretary Sal Panelo, personal opinion din niyan bilang isang journalist o isang part ng show nila. And yung sa akin naman, as a private lawyer.
Tolentino stated that his clients deemed the obscene act in question to be Vice Ganda's supposed imitation of a sexual activity when he licked icing off his finger during the July 25, 2023 episode of the Noontime Show. He added that this scene violated Section 6 of Republic Act No. 10175, also known as the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012.
Gumagawa sila ng mga eksena na obscenity and indecency. So what is obscenity, what is indecency, depende na yan sa court.
The complaint aligns with the MTRCB suspension of Vice Ganda's show, It's Showtime, for 12 days.
Ang freedom of press, freedom of expression, hindi naman absolute yan. Kahit anong gagawin mo dan, may limitation.
Yes.
Yes, we are a democratic and a republican country, but may limitation ang freedom of press.
Revised Penal Code Article 201 penalizes immoral doctrines, obscene publications and exhibitions, and indecent shows. The accused camp has yet to comment on the case. For Ganababal of Philippines, MJ Mondihar, SMNI News.
Before traveling back home to North Korea, its leader Kim Jong-un brought with him parting gifts given by Russian. Kim Montana has the details.
Before traveling home, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un received parting gifts, including a body armor and a set of drones given to him by Russian governor. Kim recently concluded his 6-day visit to Russia, wherein he met with Russian President Vladimir Putin, held various inspections, and visited Russia's Pacific Frigate last Saturday. Russian state news agency TASS reported that before traveling back to North Korea, the governor of the eastern Russian region of Primory gifted him a bulletproof vest, 5 attack drones, and 1 Uranium-25 aircraft reconnaissance drone. Russia also held a grand farewell ceremony in Vladivostok, complete with a red carpet and honor guards. Meanwhile, Dmitry Peskov said that Kim and Putin did not sign any agreement during their talks. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Ken Montana, SMNI News.
Efforts to combat frequent flooding in Metro Manila will be consolidated. MJ Mondhar reports.
Many areas in Metro Manila become instant swimming pools during heavy rainfall. This has long been a concern for residents of the metropolis. In response, Interior Secretary Benher Abalos is pushing to unify all flood control programs in Metro Manila.
If we could just sit down, look at the urban plan of each city, harmonize it as a whole of Metro Manila. No, nasa ng park mo, nasa ng walkway mo, nasa ng mass transport system mo. No, napakalaking bagay nito.
Metro Manila is composed of 17 local governments. Each has its own flood control programs. And San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora, who chairs the Metro Manila Mayors, is in favor of a unified flood control plan.
Yung ating flood control development plan ay inaayos na po natin. Ibig sabihin, maglalaan talaga ng pondo ang MMDA upang planuhin po ang ating drainage systems sa kabuuan ng Metro Manila.
The mayor emphasized that times have changed, especially with the increased population in Metro Manila, leading to high water demand. This results in increased water waste. The solution is to expand the drainage system's capacity and locate and repair all canals and waterways. Secretary Abalos pointed out that Metro Manila mayors have already succeeded in implementing a unified ticketing system for road violations, indicating that they can do the same for flood control plans.
Kailangan we work as one together. It's so hard working alone.
Tayo naman po ay nasa unang taon pa lamang ng Administrasyong Marcos, so meron pa tayong 5 taon upang tapusin ang master plan ito, at not just the master plan but also the actual implementation.
For Government of Philippines, MJ Mondihar, SMNI News.
President Bongbong Marcos Jr. concluded his Singapore trip and brought with him pledges and more investments for the Philippines. Let's find out more about this on Federico Veloso's report live. Fred?
Yes, Mike. President Bongbong Marcos is back here in the Philippines after his official visit to Singapore, wherein he met with the country's top officials and various business leaders.
And it's an honor to stand before you here.
The Philippine government can look forward to enhanced cooperation with Singaporean counterpart in many fields. This is a result of the discussion between President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong and Deputy Prime Minister Lawrence Wong this weekend. On his official social media accounts, President Marcos said that he had the opportunity to discuss important matters at a dinner with Prime Minister Lee and Deputy Prime Minister Wong on Sunday. To recall, President Marcos was on an official visit to Singapore, where he discussed priority policies and programs in front of economic managers and businesses leaders in the 10th Asian Conference called A Conversation with the President of the Republic of the Philippines. In his 30-minute speech, the chief executive emphasized the Philippine government's effort to improve the lives of the Filipino people amid challenges from significant global events. President Bongbong Marcos is the first sitting president to address the Milken Institute's Asia Summit. President Marcos received the confirmation for $11 billion investment pledge from the Singapore-based multinational technology company Dyson, which aims to invest in the Philippines by 2024. According to Dyson, the investment will go into a new research and development center, which would generate 1,250 jobs by mid of 2024. Valiant Group, a Malaysian retail specialist, is also looking forward to expand its operations in the Philippines. President Bongbong Marcos said Valiant Group plans to build 33 retail outlets in the Philippines airports in the next 5 years. The Malaysian-based firm also said that they want to take the customer experience to another level, especially by giving them more space at the country's gateways, removing stress and hassle during security checks. Meanwhile, President Marcos also attended the F1 Grand Prix at the invitation of Prime Minister Lee and visited overseas Filipino workers in Singapore.
Before traveling home, President Marcos made a surprise visit to Filipinos at a Singaporean mall, said to be a popular hub for OFWs. Mike?
Thank you, Fred, for a live report.
President Bongbong Marcos made a surprise visit to our fellow Filipinos in Singapore. MJ Mondihar, tell us more.
What you are watching right now is not footage from the 2022 presidential election period. This is the latest video of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. during his visit to Filipinos at the Lucky Plaza Mall in Singapore on Sunday, September 17th. During the election period, then presidential frontrunner Bongbong Marcos always received a rock star reception. And this was witnessed again during President BBM's surprise visit to Filipinos in Singapore. Our fellow Filipinos expressed their support for the president and wished for the success of his administration. They also wished good health for the first family.
I love you, BBM! I love you! I love you! Support me! Naman ko po si BBM. I love you so much. Basta, hindi ko po pababasan yung kamay ko kasi nahawakan ko na. Kasi hindi mo kasi ma-encounter yung presidente normally, di ba? So, napakaswerte yung pagkakataon yung isang beses, makita mo siya ng malapitan, makawakan mo. It's a privilege. Good health, more wisdom, para po mapataas niya yung ekonomiya natin at tiwala lang sa gobyerno.
President Marcos Jr. was with First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos and Speaker Martin Romualdez during the visit to Lucky Plaza Mall. According to the Presidential Communications Office, the President met with various investors while in Singapore for the Milken Institute's Asia Summit. Among them were officials from India's GMR Group, who expressed interest in investing in the Philippines in the areas of airports, roads, and energy projects. Singaporean multinational technology company Dyson also committed to investing 11 billion pesos in the Philippines over the next 2 years. Additionally, Malaysian retail specialist Baliram Group expressed its desire to expand operations in the Philippines by establishing airport outlets. For Ganamabal of Philippines, MJ Mondihar, SMNI News.
Bangkok Airways has started weighing passengers before letting them board the airplane as it joined a number of international airlines calculating the takeoff weight for flight safety. Anissa de Guzman tells us more.
A survey that seeks to weigh passengers before letting them board the airplane has started in Thailand, which was imposed by one of its local airlines serving different countries in Asia. Bangkok Airways has introduced weight measurement for every single passenger to board the airlines, which took effect on September 16th and will run until October 31st. The airline assured that the accumulated information will be kept confidential. The purpose of the survey is to aid in the calculation of the takeoff weight to ensure flight safety. The airline said the weighing will be done at the departure gate before boarding and asked cooperation from all passengers. A similar measure has already been applied to passengers on Korean Air and Air New Zealand flights. Due to the increasing number of obese passengers, several airlines have temporarily required to weigh them before boarding to ensure flight safety through the calculation of takeoff weight. Aviation officials believe the initiative will also help them save fuel consumption. Bangkok Airways operates scheduled services to destinations in Thailand, Cambodia, Hong Kong, Laos, Maldives, Myanmar, Singapore, and Vietnam. The airline said it could possibly adopt the occasional survey as a flight practice in the future. The weight survey is compliance with Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand regulations regarding the use of standard passenger and baggage weights for weight and balance calculation purposes. Di siya Anissa de Guzman, Rangan Chakuntep Mahanakon, SMNI News, Pratet Thai, Sawadika.
The 20th China and ASEAN Expo saw the participation of all 10 members of the Association of Southeast ASEAN Nation or ASEAN as well as partner countries of China's Belt and Road Initiative. Shatmogon Pisamaygozon reports.
Nearly 2,000 enterprises, including 350 global Fortune 500 companies, attended the 20th China ASEAN Expo in Nanning, a city in southern China near the Vietnam border, which kicked off this weekend. The event boasts 19 high-level forums and more than 70 economic and trade promotion activities from September 16 to 19. At its opening ceremony, Chinese Premier Li Qiang hailed the China-ASEAN relations as the most successful and dynamic model in regional Asia-Pacific cooperation. He added that it is a clear example of how to promote the construction of a community with a shared future for all. The Chinese premier emphasized that the two sides are committed to strengthening themselves through unity, win-win cooperation, and consideration for the world. China and ASEAN have been each other's largest trading partners for many years, with bilateral trade jumping from $641.5 billion in 2019 to $975.3 billion in 2022. Local officials hope the expo will debunk the U.S. Treasury's rhetoric and the smear campaign launched by several U.S. officials and media outlets that China's economy is slowing down. The Chinese mouthpiece Global Times said the U.S. launched smear campaign has become increasingly hysterical ahead of the 2024 U.S. presidential elections. รายงานจากราชบุรี นายชันมงคล วิสมัยโกศล SMNI ประเทศไทย สวัสดีครับ
Iran condemns several Western countries for imposing sanctions against local officials and news agencies to mark the first anniversary of the death of Mahsa Amini. Melchizedek Cadiz reports.
Assalamualaikum. The United States, the UK, and the European Union sanctioned Iranian individuals and entities a day before nationwide protests to commemorate Mahsa Amini's death sparked across Iran. The weekend protests took place a few weeks after Iran's exiled Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, who is currently based in the U.S., called on Iranians around the world to unite and launch fresh protests on the anniversary of Mahsa Amini's death. The nationwide protest started on Saturday, September 16th, and continued until Sunday. Mahsa Amini, a 22-year-old Kurdish woman who was arrested by the morality police for violating Iran's strict hijab laws, died on September 16, 2022. Her parents allege that Iran's morality police beat her while under their care, but the Iranian colonel and police officers denied the allegations. A state colonel's report indicated she died of heart failure, while Iranian officials said she fell into a coma following a heart attack and brain seizures shortly after her arrest, attributed to pre-existing medical problems. Her death sparked nationwide protest and gained massive international attention. Meanwhile, a group of gunmen opened fire on a group of paramilitary forces in southern Iran, killing one of them and wounding 3 others during the protest on Saturday. The controversial Western sanctions coupled with nationwide protests took place amid an ongoing prisoner exchange deal between the U.S. and Iran, wherein 5 Americans jailed in Tehran will be freed in exchange for 5 Iranians detained in Washington, as well as the unfreezing of Iran's $6 billion oil funds frozen by U.S. sanctions in South Korea. A local news agency also slammed opposition and dissident groups abroad, using the case of Mahsa Amini to gain profits and campaign for causes that serve their own interests. Barakalafikum jami'an, kan hada Melchizedek Cadiz sa Akhbar SMNI, Kuwait.
The top officials of China and the United States met in Malta for what both parties call as substantive and constructive talks. Kai Vilan has the details.
Senior Chinese and U.S. officials held multiple rounds of meetings in Malta on Saturday and Sunday, agreeing to maintain high-level exchanges and hold consultations on Asia-Pacific issues, maritime affairs, as well as foreign policies. The meeting was held between Wang Yi, director of the Office of the Foreign Affairs Commission of the Communist Party of China's Central Committee, and U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. Both sides said they conducted candid, substantive, and constructive strategic communication on stabilizing and improving China-U.S. relations. Wang, who is also a member of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee, emphasized that the Taiwan question is the first red line that must not be crossed in the China-U.S. relationship, and the U.S. must abide by the 3 China-U.S. joint communiques and honor its commitment to not support Taiwan's succession. China's top diplomat said his country's development has a strong endogenous driving force and follows inevitable historical logic, and it cannot be stopped. The Chinese people's legitimate right to development cannot be deprived. Both sides agreed to continue to implement the important consensus reached at the Bali meeting between the 2 heads of state, maintain high-level exchanges between the 2 sides, and hold China-U.S. consultations on Asia-Pacific affairs, maritime affairs, and foreign policy, and discussed measures to further support and facilitate people-to-people exchanges between the 2 countries. The 2 sides also discussed the situation in the Asia-Pacific region, Ukraine, the Korean Peninsula, and other international and regional issues. The talks between Wang and Sullivan come ahead of a possible meeting between Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Beijing in October. To recall, on September 1, Putin said he expected to meet Xi soon, although he did not explicitly say that he would travel to China again. Meanwhile, Wang is expected to lay the groundwork for Putin's visit to Beijing for the Third Belt and Road Forum, after an invitation by Xi during a high-profile visit to Moscow, Russia in March. Reporting, this has been Vigan, SMNI News.
2023 has yet to end, but the United States has already reached a grim milestone on the number of mass shootings that happened this year. Virgil Parba files this report.
Mass shooting incidents in the United States have surpassed the 500 mark over the weekend. This grim milestone was recorded by the Gun Violence Archive, or GVA, which said the U.S. averages almost 2 mass shootings a day. The 500th incident this year was recorded on Sunday when Denver Police Department posted an alert on X, formerly known as Twitter. This incident involved a mass shooting that left 5 people injured. And hours later, an El Paso police report said that they opened an investigation following a shooting that killed a 19-year-old teenager and left 5 more people injured, bringing the number of mass shootings in the U.S. to 501. GVA defines mass shooting as an incident in which 4 or more people are shot and either injured or killed, not including the shooter. Meanwhile, the recent annual crime and safety report released by the National Center for Education Studies revealed that 188 school shootings in the 2021 to 2022 school year. The year 2021, however, recorded the highest number of mass shooting in the U.S. history, with 689 reported incidents, while 2022 saw 647 cases of mass shootings. The United States, with less than 5% of the world's population, owns 46% of the world's civilian guns. The U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment guarantees the right to bear arms, and about a third of U.S. adults say they personally own a gun, according to the Pew Research Center. However, U.S. ranks first in the world in terms of both individual gun ownerships and cases of mass shootings incident. But the gun ownership issue remains divisive in the United States. Pew Research Center said that Americans are evenly split over whether gun ownership does more to increase or decrease safety. About 49% say it does more to increase safety by allowing law-abiding citizens to protect themselves. But an equal share say gun ownership does more to reduce safety by giving too many people access to firearms and increasing misuse. 79% of Republicans say that gun ownership does more to increase safety, while a nearly identical share of Democrats, 78%, say that it does more to reduce safety. Reporting, this has been Virgil Parba, SMNI News.
NATO Chief Jens Stoltenberg expressed certainty that Ukraine will ultimately become a member of the NATO alliance. While discussing the Ukraine's aspirations for NATO membership, however, the West must prepare for a long war. Sigrid Castañeda reports.
NATO's leader Jens Stoltenberg says that the war between Russia and Ukraine won't end quickly. He warns the West to prepare for a long war in Ukraine despite claiming to want quick peace for the said country. In an interview with Funke, a German media group, Stoltenberg said most war lasts longer than expected when they first begin. Therefore, the West must prepare for a long war in Ukraine. Ukraine tried to fight back against Russia in June, but didn't make much progress. Media reports over the last few weeks cited Western officials and military planners saying that they have considered the Kyiv's counteroffensive will not succeed, leaving the front lines mostly unchanged as winter sets in. Meanwhile, the UK worries that Russia might use missiles to attack Ukraine's buildings this winter. To recall, Russian President Vladimir Putin claimed that Ukraine lost over 71,000 men since their counteroffensive started in June of this year. Meanwhile, Stoltenberg claims that if Ukraine stops fighting, it might not exist anymore. But if Russia stops, there could be peace. It can be remembered that in October 2022, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky issued a decree banning all negotiations with Russia. And Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba in August said that Putin and Zelensky will never be able to see each other at a negotiation table. Reporting this has been Sigrid Castañeda, SMNI News.
The government of the Republic of Congo denied social media speculations that there had been a coup in their country. Margaret Procasio tells us more.
The Congolese government denied rumors of a coup attempt against their president, Denis Sassou Nguesso, who has been in power for almost 40 years. Rumors of military coup in the Republic of Congo began circulating on social media at a time when Nguesso was in New York, USA for the UN General Assembly. There were social media claims indicating that Congo's military forces began seizing key facilities and government installation in the capital of Brazzaville, but the government said these claims were fake news. In a statement, the government of the Republic of Congo said, quote, "Fanciful information suggests serious events taking place in Brazzaville. The government denies this fake news. We reassure public opinion about the calm that reigns and invite people to calmly go about their activities." End of quote. Various military takeover had occurred in the region recently, and this fueled speculation that a coup might also happen in the neighboring countries. Last month, soldiers in Gabon, a former colony of France, overthrew their president Ali Bongo, who had been in power for 14 years. In July, the Niger military ousted its president, Mohamed Bazoum, causing tensions between the French government and putschists. The current government of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Guinea are also the result of recent military coups. All of these countries were also a former colony of France. Reporting, this is Margaret Parcasio, SMNI News.
More news when Newsline returns. Back in the news, representatives of gasoline station appear before the Philippine Congress amid the continuous rise in oil prices in the country. MJ Modahar, tell us more.
Gas station representatives were summoned to Congress on Monday afternoon, September 18. Big gasoline station owners like Filipina Shell, Flying V, Total, and smaller stations under the Independent Philippine Petroleum Companies Association were present. All of them were called to find a solution on the ongoing increase in oil prices. This week, gasoline prices have gone up again by 1 peso 70 centavos to 2 peso per liter, while diesel prices increased by 2 peso 30 centavos to 2 peso 60 centavos per liter. Kerosene prices have also risen by 2 peso to 2 peso 30 centavo per liter.
Your friends here in the House want to listen to you because we want to work together to see how we can mitigate the prices.
The Congress has also opened to suggestions from oil companies to ease the burden on motorists. The leader of the House previously mentioned that they are studying proposals to repeal the oil deregulation law and suspend the collection of oil excise tax.
We are very much open to making suggestions as clear and direct as even making recommendations to the Office of the President and to the economic managers.
By next week, Congressman Tulfo said that oil industry players are yet to determine the sacrifices that they're willing to make to help the riding public due to their weekly oil price hike. For Ganamabulog Philippines, MJ Mondihar, SMNI News.
Residents in Okinawa expressed anger and strong opposition against the construction of a new U.S. military base in their prefecture. Carlo de la Peña reports.
The people of Okinawa felt anger and disappointment over the insistence of promoting the construction of a U.S. military base in the region. Local continued to resist and object to the Japanese central government's plan to build the U.S. Hinoko base, and they had expressed this by filing an appeal to the Supreme Court of Japan twice. But on September 4th, the Supreme Court again rejected the Okinawa prefectural government's appeal against the central government's plan to build the U.S. Hinoko base. It can be remembered that Japan and the U.S. agreed to move the Futenma base in Okinawa to the Hinoko area of Nago City as early as 1996. And this relocation required land reclamation and 2 new runways. Okinawa accounts for 0.6% of Japan's land area and more than 74% of the U.S. military facilities in Japan, and more than 70% of their military personnel are concentrated in the said prefecture. 107 lawmakers from 24 municipalities united to set up a voluntary group and convened a press conference in Naha City to express their anger and disappointment to the decision of the government.
決についてはそもそもが沖縄県の県民っていうのは辺野古に対して県民投票だったり県知事選挙でノーだと辺野古に新基地は作らせてほしくないという思いを訴えてきたそのことをやっぱり最高裁は見ずに進めなさいと県に対して言ったということは非常に残念だなというふうに私は思っております。
Zukeran Chofu, a lawmaker from Nanjo, said that the people of Okinawa are angry at the construction of the Hinoko base, and the people had clearly expressed their opposition in the prefecture voting and prefecture governor election. The lawmaker also said the Supreme Court ignored the will of the people of Okinawa and instead urged the prefecture to promote the U.S. Hinoko base. In February 2019, Okinawa Prefecture held a vote among residents on whether to approve the construction of the new U.S. military base in Hinoko. As a result, more than 70% of residents expressed opposition. And in April 2020, the Japanese government requested the Okinawa prefectural government to change the design due to serious problems, such as soft soil, were discovered during the construction process. The Okinawa prefecture government said that the technical problems were difficult to solve and asked the upper level to stop the construction and appeal to the Supreme Court of Japan. However, the Supreme Court ultimately rejected the Okinawa prefecture government's appeal. Takayama Yuzo, a lawmaker from Nago, said that they raised technical issues, but the Supreme Court ignored it. The lawmaker then accused the Okinawa Defense Bureau of abusing the Administrative Complaint Review Act, which he said was created to assist individuals. According to the lawmaker, This caused the Okinawa government to lose its lawsuit against the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism.
技術的にも問題ありますよということを訴えているのにかかわらず、最高裁の判決はそこに全く触れられてもいないんですよね。いない上に行政不服審査法という、本来は国民、私人を救済するための、仕組み、これを沖縄防衛局という個人、行政組織がですね、使って乱用して国土交通省に沖縄県のですね、この不承認をひっくり返させるような。
Another lawmaker, Yumi Nakasone from Chatancho, claimed that the Japanese government has been forcibly promoting the construction of the new U.S. base.
私たちが何度民意を示しても、日本政府がこうやって強行して新基地を建設しているっていう歴史が今まさに刻まれていると私たちは思っています。で、もう今まさにこうやって民主主義が破壊されて、そして国が沖縄に強行してきている、そういった歴史を作っている中で、それでも沖縄県民は諦めなかったという歴史を私たちは作りたいと思っています。
Reporting, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
Scientists issue fresh warnings after sea ice the size of Australia's northern territory has melted based on the latest satellite record. Julia Libuet reports.
Experts warned that sea ice around Antarctica has dropped to historically low levels, which they say has far-reaching consequences for the entire Earth.
The data gathered by the National Snow and Ice Data Center, or NSDIC, showed that sea ice around Antarctica now covers less than 17 million square kilometers. This is a shocking drop of 1.5 million square kilometers on the September average, with the area of vanishing ice almost equivalent to the size of Australia's Northern Territory. An expert from the NSDIC described the level of melting sea ice as mind-blowing. The frozen sea ice acts as a temperature regulator for the planet by reflecting the sun's energy into the atmosphere while cooling the ocean below it. But with the latest developments, scientists are concerned that Antarctica is turning from Earth's heat regulator to a radiator. With the Earth's protective casing slowly melting, the level of sunlight absorbed by the ocean increases, which in turn elevates storm surge and creates more hurricanes and typhoons.
Last month, satellite data gathered by the National Snow and Ice Data Center that the growth of winter sea ice surrounding Antarctica has been very slow despite experiencing the depths of winter. Reporting from New South Wales, this has been Gillian Libuet, SMNI News, Australia.
SMNI News visited several more popular attractions in different parts of Xinjiang, including the factory that produces a non-alcoholic beer that is healthy and will not make you drunk. Let's find out more in Jade Calabroso's report.
From Urumqi, the capital city of Xinjiang, SMNI News together with over 20 international journalists took a 1 hour to the city of Yining, the capital of Ili Kazakh Autonomous Prefecture in the Xinjiang region. Islam is the dominant religion in the area. Although it's not yet open to tourists, the Sanji Mosque is one of the famous attractions in Yining. It was constructed during the Qing dynasty and is currently the largest Chinese classical palace-style mosque. The mosque architecture combines traditional Chinese brick and wood structures with Arabic decorations of Chinese Islamic architecture, accommodating thousands of people praying simultaneously.
我们每天坚持5次拜 Bamdad, Pieshin, Digar, Sham,
we insist on the 5 prayers.
早上晚上那么40-50个人
In the early morning and evenings, it's about 40 to 50 prayers.
中午的60-70个人呢
At noon, it's about 60 to 70.
主麻就要见主麻400多人
About on Friday, the Juma day, is we have 400 to 50 prayers.
The Shanji Mosque highlights the significance of Chinese architecture in Xinjiang and is on the list of historical treasures that should be preserved in the region. Boarding this horse-drawn vehicle, we proceeded to visit a Uyghur household. Uyghur homes in rural areas are similar to Muslim homes in Central Asia. They are typically made of mud brick and wood, with a courtyard outside the pavilion covered in thick vegetation like grapes. This house has a living room decorated with long rectangular cushions and various dining areas to accommodate guests. Another popular attraction and part of the area's historical heritage is the Yili General Mansion, also known as the Yili Commandery. This was the office of the military leader in the Il-Kazakh Autonomous Prefecture during the Qing Dynasty. It also served as the office for other government officials in the past. For those who love dairy products, one of China's major dairy companies, Yili Muxin Dairy Company Limited, can be found in this prefecture. Although it's only available in China, one of its standout products is its milk beer, a beer-like drink but without alcohol.
Matamis, masarap siya mga kababayan, at parang may halong yogurt at soda ang lasa nitong kanilang milk beer.
这个奶皮呢，是我们印批乳业公司呢自研发团队研发的一款奶皮。奶皮呢，在我们这个新疆来说呢，是一个主打产品。它呢有什么特点呢？它主要是特点是，第一呢是口感呢，有啤酒的口感，但是呢它没有啤酒的酒精度啊，所以呢在现在这个开车不喝酒的这个前提下呢，它呢成为我们餐桌上的一个主流产品，能够喝着奶皮感受和大家一块饮酒的氛围。
Well, this product is researched and developed by our company's technological team, and as you can see, this beer has a taste of beer, but it's alcohol-free. So in the time of the new era, especially for some drivers, you know, it's a perfect choice for drivers. And it's one of the earliest product in the whole region.
The ingredients used in this milk beer are water, sugar, milk powder, pineapple juice, and food additives. This milk beer can be purchased for 5 yuan, equivalent to almost 40 pesos, and is sold in markets in Xinjiang.
For God and my beloved Philippines, this has been Jade Calabroso, SMNI News, Xinjiang, China.
Groups of hundreds of bar examinees in Davao City flocked to the examination center to show their support to their bar candidates who come from different law schools in the city and in Mindanao. Here's more from Marian Ambrosio.
On Sunday, numerous support groups of the bar candidates, which consist of families and relatives, schoolmates, friends, and even fraternities, flocked to the bar exam venue in Davao City to cheer on their bar bets and show their support as they take on one of the hardest licensure exams in the Philippines. The University of Southeastern Philippines, which is rallying behind its pioneer bar takers, are excited as well as anxious, but are hopeful that their 14 bar candidates will push through as they hope to have a good start of partaking in the bar exam.
Technically, this is the start. Our school is actually represented by an Aguila. So this is technically where the Aguila starts to soar high. So this is the beginning of that step one. Hopefully, a beginning of many more successes for the School of Law of the USEC.
Officials and volunteers for the bar operations of various law schools in Davao City, such as Ateneo de Davao University and Jose Maria College Foundation Incorporated College of Law, also showed their support in the ways they can provide.
Yes, we have tarps everywhere, not just to physically show our support that although this is their battle mentally, we are here to support them, we are here to provide everything that we can so that we can make them know that they are not alone in this battle. We are with them in this journey.
Our bar volunteers were able to woke up so early and have fully committed themselves to support our bar examining. So kanina parang bibo ang lahat because kanya-kanya from other schools were meeting at one exam center and then showing supports to their bar bets, mga baristas na they are supporting for this year's bar examination.
Meanwhile, after the long hours of rigorous first day of the exams, the bar takers were met with cheers and applause as they emerged from the examination site and hurdled the day one of the 3-day bar exam. After finishing off the exams, some of the bar examinees from the JMCFI College of Law shared some of their experience.
Right now, I'm feeling relieved po kasi natapos na rin ang first day ng bar exams, and I can say is that the bar exams is still very mahirap pa rin, pero at least maka-answers na yung mga estudyante. The bar exam is very grueling, is very tiring, so for now, ang nasa isip namin ay matulog lang po.
And also, I tried my best to answer all the questions.
Just days before the bar exam, the Jose Maria College Foundation Incorporated College of Law conducted a special send-off ceremony for the bar takers, headlined by no less than the school's founding president, Reverend Dr. Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy, and former President Rodrigo Duterte. The JMCFI bar takers, as well as Attorney Israelito Torion, the Dean of the College of Law, are also thankful for the overwhelming support of Pastor Apollo.
Pastor, thank you so much for your vision to create the JMC Law School, and the JMC has helped a lot of us students who are working students, and we thank you for your guidance and support, and until the last part of our journey to law school and to become lawyers, you are still with us. Thank you.
As per pastor's message, I was delighted to have him talk to us, and was really motivated to do more, and hopefully we can surpass this very rigorous challenge. And thank you, Pastor, for the motivational message, and former President Duterte. Thank you.
Yung message ni Pastor parang nung nag-guest na talaga siya, na-feel ko yung presence, and I think na, sana talaga na mag 100% kami this year.
Nakaka-boost siya ng moral ng mga asabal.
Surround yourself with positivity
as I listen with Pastor, may napulot ako ng
moreover,
kailangan mong
you are not defined by a single test. Success on the bar exam is important, but it does not solely your passion for justice, your dedication to serving the clients.
Sobrang na-feel namin yung support.
It is okay to cry,
Pastor, thank you very much.
Pastor, from the bottom of my heart, we are really touched by your actions and your words tonight. We are not only energized, but we are also inspired to work harder for the betterment not only of JMC Law School, but for our students as well and the community in general. You are truly an inspiration, Pastor. You are a model to all of us. You decided to be here with us, the JMC Law community, and because of that, we will return that favor to you by working harder and dedicating ourselves for the betterment of JMC Law community. Thank you.
The JMCFI College of Law has 38 bar candidates for this year's bar exams, who form part of the 948 total bar examinees in Davao City. For God and my beloved Philippines, this is Marian Ambrosio reporting for SMNI News.
After a month of weekly events consisting of various competitions participated by SMNI workers, the network has finally concluded its 2023 Olympics and announced the winners during a grand awarding ceremony held over the weekend. Let's find out more about this with Hannah Jean Sancho.
After a month of exciting sports events like basketball, volleyball, table tennis, badminton, track and field, and swimming competitions. Indoor events like chess, Scrabble, Word Factory, and Dart. Bible games such as Bible Quiz. preaching, Bible drill, Bible countdown, and Bible telephone, painting competition, songwriting competition, music events, multimedia events, power dance competition, Zumba, and folk dance. The teams involved in the SMNI Workers Olympics: Fuchsia Loyal Team, Red Overcomer Team, Green Dedicated Team, Blue Obedient Team, and Violet Faithful Team showcased their talents and gave their all. The event concluded by announcing the winners. 4th runner-up, Fuchsia Team. 3rd runner-up, Red Team. 2nd runner-up, Green Team. 1st runner-up, Blue Team. And the grand champion, Violet Team. SMNI and Cluster 1 workers express their utmost gratitude to Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy for conducting such events and for the opportunity to showcase their talents. For God and my beloved Philippines, this has been Hannah Jane Sancho, SMNI News.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the message of the appointed Son of God. Every challenge and every path of trials and tests we go through is a path toward our own spiritual experience to maturity. Christmas countdown is 97 days to go before Christmas.
And that's all for today's edition of Newsline World. For more news update, you may visit SMNINewsChannel.com or follow us on our official social media accounts on Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. For God and Country, I'm Mayk Dennis Oliveira.
For God and Country, I'm Deivid Lira. Thank you for watching Newsline World, and thank you very much to our beloved pastor, Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy, for this grand opportunity to be part of this program.
May you continue to listen on SMNI as it delivers nothing but fair, truthful, and balanced news, because SMNI is your source of credible news.